different things, but it does set some sort of guidelines to a certain extent, which is interesting to see the US kind of slipping up on that a little bit. That being said, they're definitely going to continue to come after projects that have done some shady stuff, because in the end of the day, that's a good way for them to make a lot of money pretty quickly. I think they're doing a money grab really quick before everything really gets settled down to a certain extent.
I think one of the challenges they've got about international regulation is that one is that you've got IOSCO, which is the Global Securities Umbrella Organization. They're actually dealing with this and helping all the different countries around the world think through it. But we still have differences of views and opinions and progress throughout different jurisdictions. So in Hong Kong, you see in November, the SFC issued their two guidelines. The challenge we've got in somewhere like Hong Kong is that the SFC only can regulate securities and futures. We have a separate regulator for things like money and government cash with the HKMA. And then the stuff that's lost between the cracks can't be regulated by any of the 4 regulators in Hong Kong because they haven't got the legal jurisdiction to do so. So I think regulation is helpful, and it's but it's difficult when you've got countries that have got regulators with their hands tied about their local laws. And the one thing about, say, in Hong Kong is that obviously in Hong Kong we've got it's only regulated for the regulations restrict only investments to professional investors. I would imagine in the room today we've got quite a few retail investors. So retail investors, what happens to those in places like Hong Kong? And actually, the only way you can do is go offshore. And that's not necessarily helpful for society. It might be helpful from a regulator standpoint, but it's not necessarily helpful for society.
And you mentioned Hong Kong. Which other regions or countries have done a good job in implementing new regulations, and which ones have not?
I actually think that one of the more progressive people is actually the US, because actually the US, there's a lot of progress being made, and there will be a lot of changes that are going through. The advantage for the US is that the US isn't quite so handcuffed by their law. So I actually work with the SFC. And I have sympathy for the SFC in terms of their hands being tied by historical law. And you said that the local law, you said that existing security laws are generally good internationally. I totally agree with you, but we don't operate crypto just with securities, and that's the challenge that we've got. So that's why I think the US is pretty good because it's overall. They've got a wider remit, but other countries are challenging by their fundamental legal infrastructure.
I guess I'd like to just offer the regulators a bit of a nod of, hey, your job's pretty hard, in that I think sometimes it's very easy in any circumstance we come across in life. How many times have any of us caught ourselves saying, why don't they do this about a process we don't actually understand? There's probably very few people in the room that actually understand. I wouldn't pretend to understand the mechanics of the day-to-day of actually regulating from a regulator's seat a market, but we do have to remember that they have a finite budget, a number of people who have to do a specific job, and they're trying to regulate something that didn't exist not that long ago, and it's quite complex. So on balance, I think given it's quite hard, they have limited resources, it's evolving very quickly, I think they've done a decent job in that context. In a realistic context of, if I had to do it, what would I have done differently?
What advice would you guys give to someone who bought Bitcoin for the first time this time last year?
Depends on the person, right? Depends on the person, like how much has he bought?
Okay, serious advice, because I did the same. It's now the 11th of December. In 2 weeks' time we have Christmas. Give it away. If you go into my LinkedIn account, or my LinkedIn account, I actually wrote an article about giving a Bitcoin as a Christmas present to nephews and nieces, etc. It's a great present because it educates people about crypto. If they say, "Wow, what do I have to do?" You have to go and set up a wallet and start using it. It's a pretty good Christmas present.
My advice would be, well, I definitely agree with that. But if you're still holding it, maybe short it. Try to make some of your money back. I don't think we're at the bottom just yet, so I think shorting would be my answer.
I think the golden rule in investment is don't invest in things you don't understand. So if you own Bitcoin today and you bought it a year ago and you didn't understand it and you haven't done the homework to understand it now, then sell it, because you're exposing yourself to risks you don't understand. And don't hindsight it, and if it goes up, I should have held it. No, only invest in what you understand. If you actually understand it, then what's your thesis? To me, if I had to guess Bitcoin's long-term role, it may have evolved as an alternative to gold, so a digital form of gold. And so it's possible that it has a permanent place in financial markets as another way to act as a store of value. But you need a thesis around why you hold it, why do I believe I understand it, and then make that decision.
All right, so give it away, short it, have a thesis. Any others?
Yeah, I think to Sean's point, the number one thing is you understand exactly what is behind it, the technology, like what does it do, what do other people think about it, and kind of the sentiment as well, and then you can make a decision afterwards. Like I fully agree, the number one thing is to understand exactly what you're holding, what the technology is behind it, what the latest developments are, what the future developments are, and then you can develop your thesis.
If you see like in the history of Bitcoin, so back to 2010, 2011, Bitcoin has been dropped like more than 94%. Even in 2013, it dropped more than 80%. So if you count like from last December, like 20,000, so nowadays it's like 35. So it's less than 90%. So yeah, there's still some buffers, but it can go back to 20,000 very easy, to 20,000 very easy. So it's extreme volatility is characteristic of cryptocurrency market. So yeah, yes.
I mean, he has to make a decision whether he wants to totally withdraw from the crypto market. Otherwise, I mean, he has already picked one of the best performing cryptocurrency in the last year. I mean, Bitcoin dropped far less than a lot of altcoins or ICOs, right? I mean, he's a good investor in this perspective. So, I mean, if he wants to withdraw, of course, I mean, he can sell it. Otherwise, I think keeping Bitcoin may not be a bad idea. But if you ask me to guess, the last 5 crypto, that would last, Bitcoin is probably one of them.
And one final one for you guys. It's the end of the year. We're in prediction season now. So 12 months from now, where's the market? Where's Bitcoin? Sure.
Yeah, I don't actually know. So I actually put my money into arbitrage instead of taking a position on the market.
I wrote another article on my LinkedIn account, if you're interested, about what drives the price of Bitcoin. And it's quite simple. Keynesian economics, the supply and demand curve, I don't think it's going to go up. I think there are going to be other crypto assets that people are going to be more interested in. And there will be government-backed crypto that is used ultimately as a preferred form of settlement mechanism. Disintermediated from the banks, but it'll be a government-backed. It could be, heaven knows, it could be China. So I think it's going to stay the same, potentially go down. It won't go above 6 or 7.
I mean, honestly, I think we're at more reasonable valuations currently, definitely than what we were a year ago. Given the utility and the actual uses that are being used in the market right now. I think 2019 is definitely going to, we said this last year, but I think 2019 is going to be the year of the security token, asset-backed tokens, stable coins, these type of government tokens like Duncan mentioned. More, I guess, traditional asset classes to a certain extent, just in the crypto space. So, looking forward to that, there's definitely going to be a big washout of a lot of the utility coins. In Steam, it cut 70% globally, everyone's bleeding, funds are closing, it's carnage out there. To a certain extent, hopefully everyone here is going to have a good Christmas regardless of the market. I think, that being said, 2019, with the security token hopefully uprising, I think that'll give a little bit of steam and legs to the underlying crypto market. but it's going to be slow and steady. We're not going to have these massive spikes anymore. The hype was there last year, and the crash was just as real. So let's actually build some stuff and give some real underlying value to the crypto space.
That is a perfect place to end it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.